Hello, welcome back to Pucks Across Borders. This episode is brought to you by First Round Collectibles. First Round Collectibles specializes in sports memorabilia. They have hockey, they have basketball, football, wrestling, you name it, they have it. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans.
We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard.
Welcome, everybody. Pucks Across Borders, January 9th. No Mark today. A little Canadian weather got to him, but me and John is still holding it down here in America. John, he writes for Gridiron Heroics. He is the man of the hour. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Unfortunately, we're missing our boy Mark leading the way. We're gonna try to fill in as best we can and still get some pucks across borders.
You know, still hockey to talk about. It's still game time. So even without Mark, we miss you, man. We're gonna see you tomorrow, we hope. But it's hockey time, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So yesterday was not that many games, but they were really good games. We had Rangers, Canucks, Flyers, Penguins, Wild Stars, Bruins, Avalanche. 4 games. What's your takeaway from yesterday?
My takeaway is the Vancouver Canucks. They're looking very good. I said yesterday they were competing on the biggest stage in America at Madison Square Garden, and they showed up against one of the league's best teams. They looked mighty impressive against the Rangers, and they proved why they have one of the best records in not only the Western Conference, but the NHL.
Yeah, this show, we love to talk about the Canucks. We love to gas them up, say Canucks plus money is always a lock. And they proved it to be true yesterday, yet again. Just won. I know it's my team. It really hurt, but 6-3, they made it happen. That's what they do. For me, my takeaway: the Wild, they're beat up still. They're not scoring because of the injuries. They were doing so well before everyone went down. They had climbed back up to 500. They were in the playoff hunt, and it's just come tumbling right back down again. It's unfortunate that they're probably going to miss the playoffs because they're not going to be at full strength for so long. But that's the way the wind's blowing for them. And just seeing them get shut out yesterday after calling them out, I feel like I called them out a bit yesterday for not scoring, and they just got blanked. So that's not a good look at all.
Yeah,
And
for
them
sure.
getting shut out, though, it doesn't quite qualify as a bad beat unless you, for some reason, bet on them to score yesterday. But
Sorry, what was that?
what was your bad beat from yesterday?
Oh yeah, bad beat. So my bad beat from yesterday was the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche. Boston I picked to win yesterday on the road, and what what ended up transpiring was a bad overtime loss for them, and Colorado still managed to pull it out. And ironically, it was the only game I got wrong yesterday on the slate, so I think it was an insult to injury thing there. I felt like Boston was able to pull it out. I I thought they were the better team, but Colorado managed to show they still had some grit in them, and they looked impressive when I thought they had the inferior goalie going into that game, but they still managed to beat one of the league's best teams. So I not many bad beats from yesterday, but that would be mine.
Yeah, we were pretty sharp yesterday collectively. That was a really good game. Went to the shootout. Boston had a chance. I think that killed one of Mark's parlays too. I think the Bruins money line was the only leg that didn't hit for him in a parlay. So you're not the only one who got burnt by the bees last night. And for me, my bad beat was also the only pick I got wrong yesterday. A little bit of a pride pick. Um, the Rangers. I said they were gonna. I wasn't worried about them starting slow because they were playing a better team, and they proved me right. They scored first on the power play, took the quick lead, and then defense unraveled right after they gave up two straight goals to relinquish the lead. Gave one up right before the first period buzzer. Second period starts, they get one back. Looks like they're gonna claw, fight. Canucks scored two more. Just didn't show up defensively. It was the only pick I got wrong. You two both picked the Canucks, so it really hurts a lot more than my team lost, and you guys nailed it when I didn't. But not much of a bad beat day yesterday, and that's the one I'm going to have to stick with.
Yeah,
We also,
definitely. I think we had a good day for the most part. I mean, we even hit on our parlay yesterday with the three of us. Mark, if you're listening, I'm glad we got one for all our loyal listeners out there.
yeah, seriously. You took the words like right out of my mouth. I was just going to say our best bet parlay. Easy money. There wasn't really a sweat. I guess the closest one was you're under, but even that had a 2 goal cushion. You were just worried because there was a lot of goals earlier in the game. But the Penguins held it down for you. The Flyers didn't score. It's a nice way to start the week. Nice way to start the week. And we're going to keep it going today. First game is one that Mark would have loved to talk about. It's one he's talked about plenty in the past. Got the Sharks in Toronto. It's a Toronto Tuesday. We love the Sharks here. Mark loves the Leafs a little bit more, just a tiny bit. What do you see in this one tonight?
I know something. If Mark were here, he would be all over this. But I know something he likes to talk about is the something with the Leafs playing on Tuesdays and how they're not great on those kind of nights. But honestly, the Leafs are starting to play some inspired hockey ever since they decided to move on from Samsonov. I feel like they're starting to get their groove, so to speak. And I think this is a difficult spot for me to back the Sharks here. I mean, the Leafs are just a much better scoring team than the Sharks. We're talking about one of the top offensive teams against one of the teams that struggles the most to put pucks in the nets. So I think the problem is there's not a lot of value on the Toronto side because I mean even the traditional puck line is minus 180. I think if you're going anything in this game in terms of picking a side, you would probably have to go Toronto 2.5 to see any type of value from this bet. I love the Sharks as much as anybody here, but I think I got to side with Toronto on this one, even at 2.5. Like they've started to look really good. I think in the last 2 weeks they've played the best hockey they have all year. And despite this quote unquote Tuesday night curse, I kind of trust them here. I think Toronto gets it done. I'd be willing to back them at 2.5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. They just beat the Sharks 4-1 in San Jose. That was the most recent game for each team. The Sharks, obviously, lowest scoring team in the NHL. Them scoring 1 goal against the Leafs was nothing new. It's honestly been the norm lately, uh, dating back to mid-December. It's a 1 goal game where they're getting shut out, it seems like, almost every night. Toronto's goaltending in general just has been better, like you said, since Samsonov was let go, starting with that Kings shutout to begin the year. So I'm with you. I think the Leafs can win this by by 3 goals. We usually like to stay away from -2.5 because the NHL can be weird, but I don't think this is a spot where it's shaky. And the over under is at 6 goals right now. The over is -130. The under is +110. I like the under 6 at +110, and mainly because Toronto's goaltending well right now, and the Sharks can't score. So even if the Leafs put up 4 or 5, I wouldn't be surprised if Nylander gets a goal, celebrate his new contract. But
Yeah, for real.
I think this is a game that still finishes under the total. And wouldn't you agree, Mark?
What's
He
up,
made it.
gentlemen? What up, gentlemen? Thank you for holding it down. Life happens, but I'm here to tell you that Willie's going to score 2 goals tonight. I thought that I was going to pick against the boys. Tuesday nights, I was watching a little bit before. They're playing good hockey, John. I think they're going to win tonight, and they're sucking me right in, man. They're playing the best hockey of the year, and I'm all about it.
Figures right when the Leafs show up, it's like a calling. It's like a calling.
You lit the beacon.
Mark, you could not have timed it better.
Yeah, Mark.
Okay,
So
we are talking.
if you don't
Go
mind,
ahead, sorry.
I'm gonna do some swaps over here. There we
Whoa.
go.
Oh man.
Now it's official.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt, boys. I just got home and watched the show, and you were talking about the Leafs, and me, I can't help myself.
Mark killed the penalty of the snow, and we're at full strength now.
There we go.
Oh, am I like taking over here now? Am I just taking full?
Oh yeah, it's all you.
This is what happening? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm
True.
glad you weren't too harsh on your boys today, though. I was worried that Tuesday they were gonna drive you a little crazy.
Honestly, if this was like a couple days after Christmas or like before Christmas, I would have probably leaned San Jose here. I think it's no mistaking the fact that ever since Samsonov's been gone, this team has just been playing better. Like hope the guy gets right. It's a whole like Jack Campbell situation, right? Like hope the guy gets right and hope he gets it together and can come back with the big boys. But like, I mean, Martin Jones has like come back from the dead and is like playing phenomenal hockey. I believe they're starting him again tonight. They're just playing the best hockey of the year. That California road trip, it roped me back in, and I think they're going to roll tonight. And I mean, as you can imagine, the talk of this city right now is Nylander, and I think he's going to get like, I don't know, like 14 shots on goal, maybe 5 goals tonight, 6, 7 points. I think it's going to be a big night. A big night. All right. Well, sorry for interrupting. Thank you for holding it down. And all right, I guess we'll just move right along. Tampa Bay is home to the Los Angeles Kings. Oh, you guys finished talking about the last game? Am I moving on prematurely?
I think we were both done.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Tampa Bay home to Los Angeles Kings. Both of these teams not playing the best hockey right now. Kings -135 on the money line. Home dogs are the Tampa Bay Lightning +114. -1.5 on the Kings puck line is +185. Lightning +1.5, -225. The over is 6 at -122, and the under is +102. Andre, what do you see in this one, my friend?
I see a Kings team that can't buy a win to save their life going against a Tampa team that needs wins desperately. This is a very crucial battle for both teams. The LA goaltending is slipping a bit. They've fallen to second in goals against per game this season. They've allowed at least 3 goals in 5 straight. They allowed 4 against the Capitals last time out, which the Capitals have a weak offense. That's nothing to be proud of. For the game before that against Detroit, Tampa's had goaltending issues all season. They just gave up 7 to Boston. Their scoring has been fine, but they can't keep the puck out the net either. So when I look at this game, I see the over. I can't see either team the way they've been playing lately, getting many stops. The over is firmly at 6 right now. Even at minus 122, I think the value's worth it. So more than anything, I like the over. If I'm taking a side, I think I trust Tampa slightly more right now. But that's not a ringing endorsement. Have not been very trustworthy lately. It's just the Kings have lost 5 in a row. The Kings offense is not playing great. The Kings aren't stopping many pucks, which is their strength. So
Yeah, and I mean, I understand the Kings, I think, are a better team than Tampa. I think the Kings are. I think this is a tough spot, like the last 2 weeks for the Kings, but I think they'll be fine. Where I think this is more of what the Lightning are. So, long term, not super concerned with the Kings, but definitely concerning momentarily. John, what do you see in this one, man?
I see a Kings team that hasn't been playing well of late, but my gut still tells me they feel like the more complete team of the two. The goaltending matchup in this game really concerns me. I mean, despite this losing streak, the Kings are still second in the NHL in goals per game. Goals allowed, sorry. Tampa Bay is in the bottom 6 in the league in that department, so it's a huge mismatch here. This might be Tampa's good at home, so I'm really conflicted about this. But I think the Kings penalty kill can neutralize Tampa Bay's elite power play. I feel like the Kings are due for a win, so I'm going to slightly lean their way. And I think we've talked about before how good the Kings are on the road as well. This just feels like a situation where the Kings are absolutely due for a win. I think the goaltending matchup is a huge advantage for them here. I slightly like them to get off the skid here tonight.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time putting my money towards either side here. Like I don't know what I trust right now. Like I said previously, I think long term the Kings will be fine if like you're asking me which team can go back to what they were. I think the Kings. But as of right now, like you said it, Andre, like Lightning are like scoring, but then they're letting in like 7 goals. Like I like the over here as well. That's my favorite bet from this game. And I think that I'm with you, John. I think I would lean Los Angeles as well, but I can't put my money on it. Like it's just so wonky. Moving on to Vancouver, New York Islanders. Vancouver plus 102 on the road. New York Islanders minus 122 on the puck line for the Vancouver side. Plus 1.5 is minus 245, while minus 1.5 for the Islanders is plus 200. The over is 6.5 at minus 112, and the under is minus 108. John, what are you seeing here, man?
I'm sticking with our old rule here.
Absolutely.
Don't bet against Vancouver when you're getting plus money. Just don't do it. I mean, last night I understood the reason for it because the Rangers are one of the best teams in the league, but this spot I don't understand it at all. Besides the fact Vancouver's playing a back-to-back, normally I would fade a team playing a back-to-back in this situation, but Vancouver's really proven to be the exception to the rule almost the entire year. I think I'm at the point with them where they have to show me they're not going to come through for me to start fading them in these type of situations. It's been good to me all year. I'm going to stick with it at least one more night. Give me Vancouver.
Andre, I gotta ask you, man, and I know the wounds are fresh, but I gotta ask you. I texted you last night, and you weren't having any of it. How are you able to appreciate the absolute beauty that was that goal by Pedersen last night? That goal was unbelievable, man. Like those hands, it was so quick. I couldn't believe it. It's been not quite 24 hours, but can you appreciate it a little bit more, or are the wounds still a little a little fresh?
I will. It was a nice goal. I came around last night after the game. It was a very nice goal. Yeah, very talented team, and it was on full display last night. They skated laps around the Rangers defensemen in particular, just blew by them. Better hand-eye, just sharp. That being said, if they don't win tonight, I will be very upset. So
What do
I'm,
you
I'm
see here?
taking Canucks plus 102. If they won last night and then they don't win this game, I don't care that Demko probably isn't going to be in net. I mean, I'm not going to be in a good mood. I'm not going to be happy with this Vancouver team. But no, they're phenomenal. We talk a lot about the Islanders getting points when they really shouldn't be, I guess is the best way to put it. They have more wins than losses. They're 18 and 21 if you just go by wins and losses. Overtime points are really saving them in the standings. So average team. Vancouver's a really, really good team, if not great. So even second half of back-to-back, even on the road, I like the Canucks here.
Yeah, I don't see how you go any other way. Like you guys both said, like I get it's a back to back, but right now Vancouver at plus 102, like you just can't go against it in my opinion. And I think like the Islanders, they should be rested. They should be ready to go, but I just don't like trust it from them right now. Also, on the Vancouver side, what they've been calling the lotto line of Pedersen, Miller, and Besser. And just a little like FYI, the in Ontario, there is a lottery called the 649, which is like our Ontario like jackpot lottery. And so 6 is Besser, 40 is Pedersen, and 9 is Miller. So it's called the lotto line. Just to a little background Canadian gambling information. And that line's just on fire right now. Like you're not slowing those guys down. I think the back-to-back means nothing. And I'm picking Vancouver too. It's super simple. I wouldn't mess with a total or nothing like that. I would just take Vancouver straight up and let the chips fall where they may. Columbus Blue Jackets are in Winnipeg. Plus 210 are the Blue Jackets in Winnipeg. Winnipeg's minus 258. Plus 1.5 on the puck line for Columbus is minus 112. Minus 1.5 for Winnipeg is minus 108. The over is 6 at minus 115. The under is minus 105. I mean, once again, same with the last game, right? How do you pick against Winnipeg here? I just don't see it. I don't love the minus 1.5 value of minus 108. I don't love it. But like Winnipeg is just playing terrific hockey right now. And I just got in. I don't have my usual prep of all my notes and all my whatever. All I know is that they are awesome. and Columbus, like I just don't. I mean, Columbus could score 7 goals tonight, but with the goaltending tandem that they have in Winnipeg, I just don't see that happening. They haven't missed a beat since Connor's been out, and I think I think they're going to roll tonight. Side note, two of the best teams in the Western Conference, Winnipeg and Vancouver. The nightmare for the NHL is that these two make it to the conference final. America will just turn off the TV. I don't think anyone would care. Anyway, Andre, what do you see in this game, bro?
I just don't even know how to approach this. Winnipeg dominates. Winnipeg's not allowing goals right now. Columbus is awful at keeping the puck out the net and have a below average offense. As much as the risky gambler in me wants to say the Blue Jackets are going to snap their winning streak, because of course they are. That's hockey, right? That's puck luck. I just can't see it happening. Columbus is very bad. Winnipeg is very good. Winnipeg is shutting down every offense in their way right now. And just looking at their schedule ahead, if the Blue Jackets, Blackhawks, or Flyers are the team that, blows them out the water and lights the lamp repeatedly against the Winnipeg Jets, I will be stunned. I might do something on this show. I don't know what. Maybe I'll eat a sock or something. I can't see it happening. I like the Jets -1.5 here to keep it simple.
100%. I don't see how you go. But if anyone would not take the Jets -1.5, John, what do you see in this game, man?
I'm always weary when it comes to teams like Columbus, but Winnipeg's playing too good of hockey right now for me to fade them. Have one of the longest winning streaks in the NHL. And we're talking about probably a top 5 team in the NHL going up against a bottom 5 team here. So hard for me to fade Winnipeg. I'm a little wary, I'm a little scared because Columbus puts up a good night once in a while. But I mean, we're talking about a team that's like an elite goaltending team, leads the league in goals allowed per game against a team that's well in the bottom 5 in that category. I think the gap is too large to fade Winnipeg here. Despite having minus odds on the puck line, I think I have no choice but to take it here.
100%. 100%. Moving on to Nashville, where Anaheim is playing the Predators. Nashville -230 on the money line, which is a little surprising. I know that the Predators are a good team. I think that they are better than they've been playing recently. I don't know. Seems a little bit rich to me, but who am I? Ducks +190 on the road, +1.5 for the Ducks puck line is -130, while -1.5 on the Predators puck line is +110. Andre, what are you seeing here?
I think I'm smelling an upset here, honestly. It's weird how the Ducks have lost their last 3 games, but I just like the way they're playing. Well, they've lost their last 5, I guess. But in the last 3, the 2-1 OT loss to Toronto, and then they followed that up with a 3-1 loss to Winnipeg. Again, they scored first, and then the Jets do what they do, and then they just lost 3-2 to Detroit, tie game in the third period. They just didn't get the go-ahead goal. So it sounds weird, but I think with the way the Ducks are playing, they're overdue for a win. I think that, well, I don't think. The Ducks are a better team on the road this season. At least they have been thus far. I know with their record that doesn't say much, but I'm trusting it. And there's something about the Predators I just haven't liked lately. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
There's something, I've been saying it and I can't quantify it. And the goaltending's been shaky against the decent teams. They gave up 5 to Carolina, 5 to Detroit, 6 to Calgary, even 3 to Dallas. That's not crazy, but it's just not sharp. And their offense isn't good enough for their goaltending not to be sharp. Their PK is bad. The power play is mediocre. I think the Ducks are going to take this one. I think the Ducks are going to snap their losing streak. they've been playing well enough where they should have a 2-point game in them by now for 2024.
Yeah, something. I mean, I've talked about this. You guys know I actually really like this Predators team. I think they play some great hockey this year, and I wouldn't be surprised. Last week we did our prediction show for the rest of the year, and I wouldn't have been surprised if the Predators made it to the playoffs. And they're not making me look very smart right now. They're not they're not playing great. John, what do you see in this game, man?
I'm in agreement with Andre. I feel like this is a spot where the Ducks might be able to pull an upset here. There's no doubt the Ducks have been on a skid of late. They scored 6 goals in their last 5 games. So they're definitely due to put some pucks in a net. I mean, I don't know how much worse it can get for them and how long this is realistically going to continue. I'm I'm also in agreement with Andre that the Predators can be had. I mean, they're a better goaltending team than the Ducks, but they're not great. They're right around the middle of the pack in goals around allowed. I also think that Nashville's penalty kill can be had if Anaheim could get a power play going. I mean, Nashville is under 77% on the PK, so definitely has something left to be desired there. I think my point is A, Nashville is a team that can get got, and B, I personally think the Ducks are due for a decent offensive performance. I mean, 6 goals in the last 5 games. They're still a professional hockey team, right? You have to believe that they're gonna get fired up eventually, and they've had their last couple at home. You guys have said this before about a few other teams. When they're playing that bad, maybe the best thing for them is to go on the road. So I think I'm leaning towards the Ducks here tonight.
Yeah, I get nervous with this because for whatever reason, my heart is really with Nashville. Like, I really like this team, and I don't really know why. It could be all the Forsberg shot prop money that I've made. I don't know what it is, but I think you guys are right here. I think this is a perfect spot for the Ducks to get right. I think that game against the Leafs last week, what impressed me with that game for the Ducks is that the Leafs like pretty much dominated them, and their goaltending really held up, and they didn't go away. Like they had no business going to overtime in that game, and they showed fight. Also, crazy trade between the Ducks and the Flyers. Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow. That happened late last night. But anyway, I'm with you guys too, and I kind of like the under here. I can see this game being, I don't know, 3-2, 2-0 even. I can see it being a very low scoring game. Now off to St. Louis, where another game that this should be a pretty easy one to handicap, and for whatever reason, it makes me nervous. Maybe you guys can explain to me why. St. Louis plus 160, home against Florida minus 192, minus 1.5 for Florida is plus 136, while plus 1.5 for St. Louis is minus 162. The over is 6 at minus 122, and the under is plus 102. John, how do you feel in this game? And does this game weird you out? Like, I don't know why, but
a little
about it.
because I can see why you're saying it, because you can definitely make the argument Florida might be due for a loss, being one of the hotter teams in the league right now. With that said, Florida has really stepped up every time they've been asked to. And I don't know. I can't really get myself to pick against Florida in this situation. They're playing too good of hockey at the moment. With that said, I may buy into the idea that this is perhaps not the best bet to go with their puck line because the money line's too high. it's a little weird. I'll give you that the money line's like minus 190, but the puck line is plus 135 or something like that. So I think those two are a little bit off compared to what I would expect for a normal minus 190 money line. I think this is why I'm leaning towards the under in this game. Both of these teams are decent at goaltending, particularly Florida. They're a lead in that category. And St. Louis does not put up many goals at all. Like they're one of the St. Louis is one of the least reliable teams in the league. I think they're bottom 7 in goals per game this year. So, and Florida's top 3 or 4 team in goals allowed. I would not expect a ton of goals to sorry. I would not expect a ton of goals in this game. I think I'm leaning towards an under 6 bet for this reason as the best way to go here.
Interesting. What about you, Andre? What do you see?
I also came into this expecting to take under 6 as my best bet of the game. But then, I like taking the Blues at home. They're a way better team at home, and I did a little digging into why when I was looking at this game in particular. And I don't think I've ever done this dive before. I just kind of looked at the record. The Blues, 2.82 goals per game this season, 26th in the NHL. Not good. At home, they are scoring 3.44 goals per game. That is why they're 12-6 at home. The goaltending stays solid. Obviously, their past few home games haven't been high scoring. But they also played really good teams. So 5-1 in their last 6 home games, 4-2 win over Ottawa, 4-3 win over Dallas, 7-5 over Chicago. And then here's the 3-game stint, and this was all in a 4-game stretch where they really played well at home. 2-1 win over Dallas, 1-2 loss against the Avalanche, and a 2-1 win over the Canucks. I like what St. Louis does at home. I love what the Panthers are doing right now on the ice, but every bubble bursts eventually. St. Louis is a tricky one. In St. Louis, I think I've picked them when they've been home dogs more often than not this season, definitely lately. And I think I'm going to stick with it. The goaltending can compete. The offense is better at home. Florida's due for a loss. Good times don't last forever. So in lieu of the Blues under, or this game's under, like I was feeling with John, I still think it's the better play between the total, but I think the Blues money line is where I'm going to go for the best bet from this one.
I am glad that you mentioned that game against Vancouver, because that game was like super impressive and infuriating as a consistent Vancouver better. But they looked really good in that game. And that is a perfect example of why this game bothers me, because like this should be no brainer. Florida minus 1.5, but you're absolutely right. Something about this Blues team at home. They're just a completely different team, and to keep it short and sweet, I like the Blues here too. Plus 160. As far as the over-under, something about this game seems super volatile. I can see it being under, but I'll just keep it simple and pick St. Louis money line. Edmonton. Does anyone know the Chicago minor league team? Because that's what this should basically be called. I can't remember what it's called now. My mind's blanking.
Chicago Wolves.
The Wolves. So it's Edmonton Oilers minus 455 on the road against the Chicago Wolves plus 350.
Wait.
I
was incorrect. It's the Rockford Ice Hogs. I apologize.
The Rockford Ice Hogs. That is I like that name.
I do too.
That's definitely the better name of the two.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some Ice Hog merch ASAP.
Ice Hog.
Where's Rockford? Is that in Illinois as well? I
I
don't
would
know why you
assume
would.
Illinois has a lot of.
I don't know why I'm asking that. Like you guys just know all of American geography. No questions asked.
I think it is in Illinois, though. If I had to
I would
guess.
assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rockford Ice Hogs. All right. My point is this: I heard something today on the radio that the Chicago Blackhawks 11 forwards that they have dressed right now are worth $13.9 million total. $13.9 million for their entire forward staff right now.
That's
Absolutely insane. And to bring this full circle, how Calgary lost to them on Sunday is extremely troubling. But we'll talk about Calgary in a little bit. Edmonton should win this game by a million. I haven't had the time, I'll be completely honest, haven't had the time to really dive deep. I'm assuming that you're not getting plus money on Oilers goals until like
2.5. Like 2.5. Yeah.
total goals. I mean, like probably
sorry.
5.5, right?
I
Probably
thought
Oh,
5.5
My
total
bad.
goals, it's over 5.5 is the first positive.
is the first plus, right? Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
figured. And like you're right, John, minus 2.5. Minus 1.5 is minus 170, which is just insane. I would still be very curious to see if the Chicago first goal still hits because it did hit the other day. Would be very curious. The over is 6.5 at minus 130. Under is plus 110. I feel like we're all just gonna say the same thing. The Oilers are looking to go on their second 8-game winning streak of the season tonight. If they win tonight, and the Blackhawks is just abysmal. And the only thing that really made anybody want to watch the Blackhawks was in the midst of all this pain, you had Corey Perry, but then he was weird and he's not there anymore. Now, obviously, it was Connor Bedard the whole time, but he's not there. Why even watch this game? Are you an Oilers fan? It'll be a good game for you, hopefully. But yeah, I don't even know like what you bet in this game. Minus 2.5. Andre, what do you see here?
I would like to say that I'm a Peter Mrazek super fan, and I
Oh
resent
yeah,
for not acknowledging my
I
king.
apologize.
Yeah, I feel like we're all gonna say the same things about this game. So, Blackhawks have scored first in their past two. The first time they played the Oilers, they scored first before losing 4-1. Why not? I don't even know who would score first, but why not? That's all I got. Oilers should win this one by 3 comfortably. This shouldn't be close. The Oilers are the hottest team in the league right now, so that's all I got for this one.
Andre, I know today is how I know you're fully committed to that first goal bet because this is like the worst set of circumstances ever to take that bet, and you're still on it. We're riding and we're going down with the ship on that one.
Well,
60%
I mean,
of the time, it works every time.
There we go.
think of it this way. The Oilers, like Andre said, they're rolling right now. They're one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the league right now, going on an 8-game winning streak. Their season was down and out. Then they come back, playoff spot. Everything is coming up Oilers. They literally playing a team that is combined. Their offense is barely making more than Connor McDavid. Like they're making like 1.3 million more as a collective forward unit than Connor McDavid is making. I can see the Oilers falling asleep in the first period. Maybe Chicago comes out, scores a goal. It's not that crazy when you really think about it. John, what do you see in this one?
I think that's the only Blackhawks bet I would consider, just because you guys do Mark. You do have somewhat of an argument there. the Oilers may come out a little lazy just because. I mean, I'm sure they are quite as well aware of it as you are about the Blackhawks situation over there. I think with that said, I can't help but say 2.5 is the play here for the puck line. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm normally adverse about taking 2.5 lines, but this is the second time I'm diving right into it on this slate. But right before you showed up, Mark, I did take the Leafs at 2.5 against the Sharks.
Love
So
it.
so I think with that said, I'm diving headfirst into these large puck lines today. I don't see any reason not to do it here.
Absolutely love it. And I hope my boys come through for you, man. It makes me nervous. All right. Moving to the University of Arizona, where Boston is playing the Coyotes. Boston played a phenomenal game last night. That was such a fun game to watch against Colorado. I wasn't here to do my bad beat, but all I needed was Boston to win to nail uh, my own little parlay. And friggin', they tie it up in the third and shootout loss, crushing. But I digress. Arizona plus 130 at home. Boston minus 155. Minus 1.5 for Boston's plus 160. Plus 1.5 for Arizona is minus 192. The over is 6 at minus 102. The under is minus 118. John, what do you see in this one, man? Do my Yotes have any hope? Back to
I'm on
back?
I'm on
Eh?
the I'm on the fence here because Boston had a pretty bad loss last night
Mhm.
against Colorado. And I would say going into Arizona doesn't help them, but I almost want to argue the opposite because that Phoenix, that whole area tends to be a transplant area. So I could see a ton of Bruins fans packing that place. I really could. There's
Sure.
because I swear there's like a lot of retirees that end up settling in Arizona that are like transplants from the East Coast. So there tends to be a lot of older New York, Boston sports fans there. Makes me a little nervous about what that crowd's going to look like tonight. I think with that said, on a back Arizona may not have the home ice advantage tonight, but on a back-to-back with Boston playing the type of game they did last night and going up against a team that's quite frankly a decent defensive goaltending team, I think I'm taking Arizona plus money here. I don't think this is a great spot for Boston, mainly because they're coming off an overtime loss on a back-to-back and going on the road all the way from Denver to Phoenix, which is not a short journey.
Sure.
I don't like that. I don't love that set of circumstances for them. So I think they got to go through one more loss, and after that, they'll get it together. That's kind of my first reaction take from this.
I love it. Absolutely love it. What about you, Andre? What do you see here?
If you had told me, looking at the schedule, that this would be the game I was lone wolfing today, I would not believe you at all. But I can't see the Bruins losing again.
Yeah.
One thing I'm very confident in is win or lose, Coach Montgomery and the Bruins will not be playing in overtime tonight. Um, not again. So I'm leaning towards the Bruins 60-minute line. They need to bounce back. Tough loss last night, but they played well against a good team. Or at least they were competitive against another good team on the road. Like John said, Arizona State, big school. Sure, there's a ton of New Englanders there. Arizona probably has a lot of retirees from New England as well. Would not at all be surprised if there's a heavy Bruins contingency in Tempe's Sun Devils Arena. I don't know it's the Mullet. I won't be surprised if there's a large Bruins contingency in the Mullet tonight. They have a great goaltending duo, so it doesn't matter. They have a backup in Olmark Swayman. They're both phenomenal. I want to say that Olmark started last night. I might be wrong, but it doesn't matter. The Bruins can shut down Arizona's offense. The Bruins can score on the Yotes. They probably won't go crazy because Coyotes do have good defense, good goaltending, but they can win a low scoring game. So I like the under. I like the Bruins 60-minute line here.
So I just realized some really useless random fact. My father's name is Paul. He went to the University of Arizona. My son's middle name is Paul, but his first name is Boston. Arizona and Boston. If he's in a weird mood tonight, I know there's some like inner conflict of it's my grandfather's university, but that's my name, and it might get complicated in my house tonight. I think that Arizona is going to win this game. I'm a little bit surprised yet happy to see that they're not dogs by more. I've been pumping their tires. You guys have as well over the last little bit. John finally came around. It's good to have you over on this side. The Coyotes have been playing really well competitive hockey, but it's still Boston that we're talking about. I think if this wasn't a back-to-back, we might have better odds on the Coyotes side of things here. I do think theoretically that Boston should bounce back, but I just feel that this Coyotes team is just different this year. I think they bounce back tonight. If I'm not mistaken, the Coyotes it was the Jets that they played last, right? Was that on Sunday?
6-2 on Sunday.
Yeah. Tough loss on Sunday. And I feel like the Coyotes need a bigger bounce back than the Bruins do. All right. This game, should have thrown this game in the middle somewhere or not even talk about it. This is what we're signing off with tonight. Ottawa plus 110 on the road in Calgary minus 130. Over is 6.5. That's also minus 130. The under is plus 110. Ottawa plus 1.5 is minus 218. Minus 1.5 for Calgary is minus 180. Here's the deal. Calgary, Andre, it's been well documented, the season-long feud that you guys have been having. As a Canadian who is 24/7 taking in the Canadian hockey media, this team stumps everybody. Just when Calgary was coming around, was playing really well leading up to the new year, was looking like they might turn it around. And like I mentioned, they go and they lose to Chicago, which I know that the Leafs lost to Chicago twice, but that was back when they had at least a couple reasonable players. And I'm just going to make excuses for my Leafs. The Leafs have nothing to prove when it comes to the regular season. Calgary, if you're a real team, tough 1-goal loss to Philadelphia on the Saturday, you need to come in and beat Chicago. You have to, and they didn't. I'm done with this Calgary team. I do not care. I'm not betting props. I'm not betting winner, loser, over, under, nothing. Anything that has to do with Calgary, I don't even want to touch. I'm staying away. I'm done. On the other side of it, and like Jonathan Huberdeau, he scores a goal and then he disappears for 2 weeks. I don't know what to make of this team. Ottawa, the whole dead cat bounce that we heard from Andre here, hasn't happened. Not a thing for Ottawa. They
didn't reach Canada.
No, yeah, I've said this 1,000 times. They're so talented, and they are awful. They just play lost. They don't. The only guy that has any sort of anger about the way they're playing on the ice is Brady Tkachuk, and he's just out there with his head cut off, just going nuts. I am not betting this game. I have no idea. Theoretically, Calgary should win this game. They are the more structurally sound team, but I don't know. I I don't know, like the over maybe, but then out of nowhere, both these goalies could just stand on their heads. I really have no idea. Don't care. John, what do you see in this game, man? Do you lean either way here?
This is definitely the game I would least want to bet on the entire slate. I'm gonna make an analogy here, Mark. Since you're up in Canada, tell me if this is accurate or not. Ottawa and Calgary, in terms of Canadian hockey teams, feel like the two stepchildren or distant cousins in the family. The rest of the family doesn't like to talk about.
I mean, this year for sure.
This year, at the very least.
Yeah.
Both of these teams are just blah. Like, I almost want to barf thinking about both of them. I don't really want to pick either one of them, but I will for the sake of the show. I've been known to fade Ottawa pretty much this entire existence of the show. I don't see why I shouldn't continue that here. I mean, I don't like Calgary either, but they lost to the damn Blackhawks a few days ago. I feel like I don't know how much lower it can get for them. It's like you have that type of loss, you almost have nowhere to go but up. I think that's my only logic here. Besides Ottawa having just an awful penalty kill, but I don't know if Calgary could take advantage of that, but I digress. I think just because I feel like Calgary hit their rock bottom the other night makes me want to slightly lean their way, but I don't say that too favorably at all. I just really don't like Ottawa.
I think to better your analogy, Toronto and Edmonton are like the cool guys in like high school that are like smoking darts on Smokers Hill and like chilling, and then they're hanging out with the girls, and then like Ottawa and Calgary, their little brothers come around, and Toronto and Edmonton are like, yo, beat it, bro, like you're ruining my vibe type of thing. I think that's like pretty much what, like, this girl's never gonna go out with me if she sees you here, like go away, you know what I mean? I feel like that's where your analogy comes home. I think that's it.
There we go.
We're really ragging on these teams. Andre, what do you see here, bro?
Well, you stole my analogy. I was going to say this is the White Sox taking on the Angels here, two B teams in their respective provinces.
Right.
I guess for in America it would be the States, but this is a brutal one. I will say Thursday, last time we talked about Calgary, I put my differences aside with the Flames, and they did not let me down. They beat the Predators on the road 6-3. Very rare for this Calgary team to win on the road. They're a better team at home. 9-7-1, positive goal differential. And I think I'm going to stick with them at home. I know they just lost to the Blackhawks, but somebody has to lose to the Blackhawks, right? They're not going to go winless. Yeah, we would hope.
Right.
So they were the unfortunate souls.
Yeah.
They had to take the loss. The Senators, meanwhile, 4-11 on the road this season, minus 10 goal differential, 66.7% PK. They're allowing just under 34 shots per game to opponents. Absolutely no reason to trust the Senators, period, let alone on the road. So I guess for the second straight show with Calgary involved, I'm going to have to pick them. And this is where I'm going to go too far. This is where they're going to be. I'm going to take the Calgary puck line. I like the -1.
Oh.
I think that's where they're going to burn me. But I feel really good about the Flames tonight.
I mean, you feel really good?
I do.
Really?
compared
I mean,
to the Senators, I feel really good.
I'll give you a shout out tomorrow if that puck line hits. That's a bold one.
On the money line, I mean, if you're going to pick a side, Calgary, I think, would be the side just because, like, they're home and they are playing better, generally speaking, than Ottawa is. But this is a tough one for the nation's capital and for the cowboy capital of Canada. All right, moving on to our best bets. Andre, what do you have for your best bet of the night?
I think I got to go with one of the hottest teams in the league on home ice against one of the weaker teams in the league. I like the Jets -1.5. You thought it was going to be.
I thought you were
Nah, I
going
couldn't do that to
here.
you. The 2.5 is just, even though I trust it to hit for Toronto, it's just asking a little too much to be a best bet for me. All it takes is like one rough period and it's in danger. Whereas Winnipeg winning by 2 goals at home, -108, even if it's a God, I just remember that Sharks game. Even if they have a 1-goal lead late, they can just get that empty netter and it's all good. And, easy, comfortable win for the bet. We didn't even have to worry about the other 59 minutes of it. Winnipeg's not going to allow more than 2 goals in this game. I feel very confident saying that now. I feel very confident saying they can score at least 3, if not 4 or 5 against this Jackets team. They bleed goals for fun. So I'm taking Winnipeg at home to win against the puck line.
Absolutely love it. What about you, John?
I think after last week, I never would have considered fading this team in a best bet, but I'm going to today. I like Edmonton -2.5 against the Blackhawks. I think it helps me with this pick that the Blackhawks just beat the Flames recently, got that win out of the way. Personally, I think Edmonton's going to smoke them tonight. They should, by all means. I realize you never know with this Blackhawks team, but even though they've let me down a couple of times when fading them before, I just feel like tonight it's going to be a wide open game for Edmonton. I'd be surprised if they don't win this game by 3 goals.
Absolutely love it. Just a little Canadian bet for you guys tonight. Oh, where was it? I had here. If we're taking Jets puck line, Leafs and Canucks money lines, plus 374 for a little Canada parlay, Jets -1.5, and Toronto and Vancouver money lines. I'm picking Vancouver money line here. I think it's a bit of a risky-ish best bet just because of the back-to-back factor. However, if Casey DeSmith is in the net tonight, he has been more than a good enough backup for the Canucks. And I just think that like they're playing so well right now. And I mean, the Islanders are scoring more goals, but they're also giving up more goals. And I think one of those two things has to be like they have to fix that to succeed. I like the Islanders. I want them to do well, but as long as they're scoring 3, 4, 5 goals, they're going to be giving up just as much. And I like Vancouver money line to win this game.
So, Mark, I must say, we made our own little 3 province, 1 country parlay just now without even trying. Winnipeg Jets -1.5, Edmonton Oilers -2.5, Vancouver Canucks money line +102. That is a 3-pick parlay at +627.
Okay.
Repping Canada today.
Oh, Canada.
Where's that Leaf baseball when we need it?
It's all the way over there. I'm literally staring at it.
Oh, Canada, make us some money.
Hey, when it hits tonight, I'll bring it on for tomorrow. Don't even worry.
There we go.
Just ignore the Ottawa, Calgary, Canada.
We don't talk about them. We don't talk about them.
The toilet bowl that's over there. The Ottawa, Calgary. It sucks. Less so Calgary, more so Ottawa. Like I want to see them do well so bad, and it's so tough watching them in this. So, um, everybody, thank you for listening. John and Andre, thanks for holding it down, boys. I apologize for just showing up out of nowhere, but I got home and I was watching live, and I can't say no to a microphone, so I had to just get on in here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for holding it down. Good luck on all your bets tonight. And 3:30 p.m. we will see you tomorrow. Adios, gentlemen.